Hello everyone and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our May 24th, 2021 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including some news about animated movies, super pets. We're going to be talking about latest episode of Superman and Lois on TV. We're going to be talking about comic books and so much more. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. But before we get into tonight's topics, you might want to find out how you can get involved in tonight's show. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Doing well, and yourself?
Oh, I can't complain. Got a lot to talk about tonight, so we're just going to get right to it because this is WGBS Live, and WGBS Live is all about Superman. Because of that, we want to hear from the Superman fans that are watching us live right now on YouTube. So about halfway through the show, and if we don't yak, we'll start taking calls. So how do you get involved? Well, you got to have Skype. Go to Skype, find Superman homepage, and then send us a message that you'd like to be on the show. Now, a couple things that are kind of important. One, send us a message. Don't just call. That screws things up. And if you are watching WGBS Live with an external speaker, please put that on mute or turn the volume down because we are on a bit of delay and that creates a weird echo effect.
Indeed. And for those who are tuning in live via YouTube to watch tonight's show, we invite you to join in and chat with fellow fans, post your comments and ask questions. Michael and I will keep an eye on those comments throughout the show, so get involved. And if you want your comment featured live on the screen, then that's called a super chat. All you have to do is click the little dollar symbol there at the beneath you on YouTube. A slider will appear on your screen. You decide on the amount you want to donate, and we will feature your comment or question on the screen as the show goes to air. And a huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And if you want your name or business featured as a sponsor of this show, simply click the join button below. Well, Mike, it's been an interesting week in the world of Superman. Lots of different news items here, there, and everywhere. New comic book things happening. New Lobo series. There's a new Super Pets. We've got some voices for that. We've got a new Injustice thing happening on the screen. A lot going on, and obviously a new episode of Superman and Lois. So lots to get through.
Yeah, it's like one of those weeks that once again, the minute we get done, they start popping announcements like it's going out of style. So and most of them are really cool. So one of them I was just like, really? Okay, well, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. All right, well, let's start with the movie side of things. And DC did reveal this week that the next animated movie that they'll be releasing to Blu-ray, DVD, home video release will be a film based on the Injustice video games. It seems like DC are not yet tired of having a Superman going dark.
It is their thing, isn't it? This is the one that I was just like, did we really need this? Is this something we really needed to kind of put out there? I mean, I get that the Injustice games are really popular. It was popular enough to spawn, like a sequel game. There have been, they haven't stopped producing miniseries or limited series on digital first based in that universe. But it's just like, I just feel like we've done this like a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of weird that they're just going back to that well again.
So if anyone who's not familiar with the Injustice side of things, it's an alternate DC universe where Superman decides to run the world in his own way after the Joker tricked him into mistakenly killing his wife Lois, who was pregnant with their child. And so throughout the Injustice story, Batman and his allies try to overthrow Superman and his regime. And, they're obviously at odds with each other the whole time. And it's a dark and gritty type of world. This will be the next animated movie that will be released after the upcoming Batman The Long Halloween Part 2 animated movie, and there will be a bonus feature promoting the upcoming Injustice film on that Blu-ray release.
Yeah, that's again. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they go for kind of a classic voice cast.
Mm.
Like, would it be I mean, they've had George Newbern and Kevin Conroy and et al. Play the characters before, so it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. But I'm wondering if you would want to go with a new like a brand new voiced cast for it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Even get Tim
So
Daly back.
yeah, yeah, it that'd be interesting only because Tim Daly, he's got a pretty much a straight ahead Superman.
Mm.
It's layered. I mean, he's not like monotone, but I always felt like Newbern could play kind of a grittier Superman better.
Mm.
And that's just the material Newbern was given too. So it's not like I'm trying to insult Tim Daly. The thing is that as far as Superman voice actors are concerned, we really haven't had a bad one yet.
No, indeed. It's funny because I've been watching Resident Alien. I don't know if you're familiar with the series. It's got
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk, yeah, exactly, who plays an alien who's crashed to Earth. He was sent here to destroy the Earth, but he's crashed and he's lost his device, and ends up being a small town doctor in a like a remote town in somewhere in
Alaska,
the snow, Alaska, yeah, somewhere like that. And he's just so comedic. He's just so funny. And I'm saying to my wife, he did the voice of Superman in an animated film once, and she's like, "Really, him?"
Yeah. And unfortunately, it wasn't one of the. It's like I didn't dislike Alan Tudyk.
Mm.
I just disliked that movie overall. Justice League War is not the best of their animated efforts.
No, indeed. So yeah, we look forward to seeing what they do with Injustice. Not necessarily looking forward to the material itself. The cutscenes from the video games are pretty much an animated movie in and of themselves. And it's funny, Mind the Gap, I think it was, in the comments said, "That's funny, NetherRealms haven't announced a Injustice 3 video game to tie in with this animated movie." I'm sure that'll probably be coming down the track.
Yeah.
Or a mobile game.
I played the mobile game for Injustice 2 for a little while. It's just, once you blow through all of the cutscenes, it's just you're just leveling up your characters.
Yeah.
So
we'll wait and see exactly what happens there with Injustice. We'll let you know when more details come to hand. But as I mentioned, we've had the news circling around for a while now about DC doing a Super Pets animated movie. Variety reported this week that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been cast to voice the role of Krypto, the Superdog. The movie is called DC League of Super Pets. It will be released May 2022. So May 2022. And it's directed and written by Jared Stern with Sam Levine to co-direct. I think this is awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I also like the fact that they haven't mentioned Ace yet. The press release mentioned Krypto and a cat, so I'm assuming that's going to be Streaky.
Streaky, yep.
So it's like, you got two super characters headlining this, and I don't know. The Rock, I've liked Dwayne Johnson like for years. I think he is such an interesting actor. He obviously was a wrestler, but he's just kind of a larger than life presence at this point. So it's just kind of funny that he's playing Black Adam, but he's also going to be playing Krypto. So that's range.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to cast some pretty well-known voices for this animated movie, which I think is a great idea. As soon as you know that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is voicing the main character of Krypto for a Super Pets animated film, you're bringing some credibility to the movie. It's not just something that's going to go direct to DVD or whatever. They're actually casting some big name voices to it. It says here the animated DC film centers around Superman's dog, who teams up with a flying cat probably Streaky, to stop crime while the Man of Steel is on vacation. Superman takes a holiday.
It'd be interesting if they could kind of get like Henry Cavill to do the voice of Superman as he's leaving to go on holiday.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So, based on the characters like Krypto the Super Dog, Streaky the Super Cat, Beppo the Super Monkey, Comet the Super Horse, the Super Pets concept has been around since 1962 when Adventure Comics 293 saw those characters in a particular story. And obviously there's been many comic books, animated shows and cartoons and that based around those characters over the years. But we look forward to seeing where this film will be, the news that comes out about this animated film in the next year or so. So looking forward. Well, it's a year till it gets released, so the next year.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so that is DC League of Super Pets coming out next year. There has been some rumor and speculation about what AT&T are doing with Warner Brothers. People are kind of talking about it in our comments, and I was interested to see that there are no DC merchandise listed currently on the WB Shop website. That seems to be a recent development.
They'd be stupid to get rid of it. I know that AT&T is probably looking to get rid of Warner Brothers. Whatever is going on with that. It's been such I was about to say a bad word. Excrement show. Let's go with that. With how they rolled everything out. But, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, these are still billion-dollar characters. And I think DC is going to be fine. I think the characters are going to be fine. I worry kind of about the comic book side of things, because they always, they just got gutted already, and usually when there's some kind of buyout or a new owner, they make more cuts. I don't know how you could do that at this point. So it'll just it's gonna be interesting. That is for sure.
Yeah. John's asking in the comments, is the WB shop shutting down? No, it's not shutting down because Warner Brothers have a vast array of merchandise for all their TV shows and things. Just the DC properties seem to have been removed from WB shop. I can't see it because I'm in Australia, but does the DC store still exist?
Maybe someone can look at that.
Yeah, because that's one that I can't. It's only for American visitors, but if the DC store is still up there, then that might be just a different direction that they're going. But it is an interesting development. People saying, obviously, if you're believing that the Disney rumor, you've got to be pretty stupid. I don't see Disney buying out DC Comics. I think that would probably be a bridge too far. But there are rumors that Kenneth says that Discovery is looking at buying Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I heard that. What? I could see a Shop All DC at. This is the UK version. Why is it pulling up the UK version for me?
So I believe
the
website.
The WB Shop UK has DC stuff in it.
Okay, what about shop.dccomics.com? So Michael's just checking out to see whether that DC Comics store still exists.
Shop.DC Comics, it's still up.
Okay, so the merchandise is still available. They're doing a Pride thing. Yes, yep. So it's just not available on the wbshop.com, which is probably a bit of a revelation there. Wait to see what comes out. I'm sure there'll be an announcement in the next few days if there has indeed been some kind of a shift in ownership or buyout or something along those lines. But watch this space. In the meantime, let's take a shift across to the television side of the world of Superman, where to start the week, Alex Garfin and Jordan Elsas, who play the twin sons of Lois and Clark on Superman and Lois, they did a little Twitter, Instagram video thing where they talked about the fact that new episode of Superman and Lois was about to hit our screens. Here's what they put together.
Yo, could I get one new episode of Superman and Lois?
You got it. New episode of Superman and Lois coming tonight at 9/8 Central. There you go. Enjoy.
Oh wow, this one looks really sweet. A lot of, is that hormones? Smell a lot of teenage hormones coming off of this one. All right, here you go, sir.
Thank you. Actually, I ordered the extended cut on the CW app.
All right, yeah, I'll bring it right back.
Yeah,
Sorry about
thanks.
this.
So there you go, the two of them having a bit of fun ordering an episode of Superman and Lois with teenage hormones.
Well, he's not wrong.
So let's talk about the newest episode of Superman and Lois, which was episode 6 of the first season. It was the first episode to return us to Superman and Lois after that hiatus. It was titled Broken Trust, and our reviewer Neil Bailey had picked apart this episode pretty strongly. There was a few things, plot points and things that he didn't like. Maybe I'm a little bit easily pleased. I gloss over any kind of plot holes and things to a great extent and enjoy the episodes just for the ride that they take me on. I quite liked this episode. I thought it was well done. I know our good friend Scotty V had some issues with the kryptonite bullets that were fired at Superman in this show and how quickly he was able to kind of shrug that off. I'm guessing at this point in time, Sam Lane is still not Superman's enemy. If anything, they're working together. He's not going to use lethal force on his ally.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet. I really liked this episode. I'm sure other people have problems with it. I'm really trying to focus, given what a excrement show the world is right now. I'm just trying to hold on to the things that bring me joy, and watching, for example, Clark get all happy that his son did his first super punch. And you realize that's probably one of the first times that as a family, Clark and Jordan have had a moment like that, where he's just so excited. And, watching Jordan and Jonathan kind of go through their teenage stuff. But really it was that moment where we see Jordan lose control and end up hurting Jonathan versus Superman coming to that point and just being able to kind of rein it in.
It's a nice parallel.
They were going to murder a child. I mean, I know Tag has super speed and he could be considered a danger, but they were going to kill that kid. And just because he broke out of their Professor Xavier's school for gifted youngsters, and it's just like one of those things where Sam Lane, there's nothing Sam Lane can do that will. I don't think he can come back from this. I do think it's ironic that we have a character that can run really fast and you can't catch him, and his name is Tag.
You're it.
There's something to go on with that. I felt bad that Sarah's first time meeting Superman was him saving her, basically. But no, I really liked the character moments in this one. Watching Lana and her husband, he really wanted that job, but he was able to put that aside and be happy for his wife and take her out to dinner for it. I was just like I'm just liking all of these characters so much.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of the questions that some of the fans are posing in the comments here. The video that Tag was talking to Jordan about. So someone's captured the moment at the bonfire where Jordan's heat vision goes off for the first time, causing the explosion. And somehow I think that's triggered Tag's super abilities, or he thinks it has. And that video is shown to Sarah, and that's the video that they're talking about. Hopefully that answers your question, John. I don't know how viral that went or how far and wide it's been spread, but it could pose a problem further down the line. Jonathan breaking his hand to stop Jordan's punch hitting that Metropolis footballer. very interesting dynamic here between the brothers because Jonathan was just getting his break with the Smallville football team, no pun intended, and now he is out of playing football and probably will never play quarterback again because of how bad the break is. But yet he's so understanding. This Jonathan is almost Superman in his character, while Jordan is exhibiting the powers. Jonathan is really coming across as one heck of a brother.
Yeah, he's mad, and he was really mad at the end of the episode, and he was hurt both emotionally and physically. I loved though just watching the kid playing Jordan and the fact that he's bringing across this thing that he's done something that he doesn't know if he can come back from, and it's so well done to me, this family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
They again, I keep saying this, in Smallville this would have been a half a season of Jonathan being mad at Jordan, and he's still mad at him, but I don't think it's going to be one of those things that's going to take like forever to get resolved.
No.
Plus, Jordan had to go and have a seizure at the end of the episode, so
always comes back to him, doesn't it? Poor old Jonathan can't get a break, or can't catch a break. He gets a break in his hand, but always seems to come back to focusing on Jordan and what's going on with his haywire powers now that he's got not just the heat vision, but seems to have super strength with that punch into the log. And it seems to be exhibiting other abilities at the same time.
And Clark was able to talk about the idea of people being afraid of Superman and how he dealt with that. I think it was the best. To me, that's the best way to frame that idea. Yeah, is that it's not just about people being afraid of him. It's about him wanting to overcome that we don't really see in other versions of Superman lately on the screen. And it kind of big budget movies.
Yeah, and it kind of brings the never-ending battle meaning. It gives a different meaning now because it's a daily struggle for him to continue to earn their trust and not have them fear him for what he possibly could become or what they fear that he might become. So it's for him, it's a daily struggle to continue to earn their trust and keep that trust. And I think that's a really interesting dynamic for the character. Then we also have the Lois and Captain Luthor going into the caves, finding was it X-Kryptonite? Is that what they called it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
XK. So, a very interesting. Have we ever seen XK or anything of its kind in? Yep. So, what's its background?
It's a comic book thing. It does exactly in the comics what it does on the show. Is it gives non-Kryptonian superpowers.
Mm-hmm. So there you have it. So it'll be interesting to see what Lois's reaction to Luthor is, or whatever he's going by his pseudonym as this reporter that she knows now he's not a reporter, that he's not who he says he was, and so she's got her doubts about his real agenda. So a very interesting dynamic there, and I think that's it's got to be hard for Captain Luthor when you think about it, because here he is, the love of his life, the woman that he married in his own universe, who is now she's a stranger to him, or he's a stranger to her, and he's living. Well, he doesn't know that she is married to his enemy, but he knows that Lois and Superman are always around each other.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna. Captain Luthor is going to surprise us. I really do.
Yeah, I think so too. So that was the episode titled Broken Trust, and we have the promo trailer for the 7th episode of Season 1 of Superman and Lois. It is titled Man of Steel. Take a look at the trailer. Here it is right now.
They have have to help him.
The point of moving to Smallville was to give them a normal life, not terrify them.
Someone's trying to kill Dad. Just tell me which way to go. It's so loud.
You're the stranger. I'm gonna kill him.
So there you have it. That's the Man of Steel promo trailer. Looks like Jordan's getting super hearing.
Yep. Which is probably what the problem has been this episode, is that his hearing is coming in, so
causing that pain.
Yep.
So yes, this is Man of Steel, the 7th episode of season 1 of Superman and Lois. Clark struggles to help Jordan, who is grappling with a new power, obviously the hearing issue. Meanwhile, Lois enlists Clark's help, which leads to a surprise encounter, and this episode will air on Tuesday, May 25th, so tomorrow night there in the US. Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mind the Gap says he thinks there's a chance of redemption for Captain Luthor.
Maybe.
Might not become the all-out villain that we're all expecting him to be.
Maybe.
Michael wants to know in the comments, how come Superman has never heard of Kryptonite?
Have they revealed that he hasn't heard of it?
Well, when Lois tells him about a kryptonite that was found within the walls of the cave, he seemed surprised. I don't think he was aware of it. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out just how much he does know about it. But
yeah.
Considering that it's in the walls of the caves in Smallville, it seems strange that he hasn't come across it before.
Of course there's something in the caves at Smallville. There's always something in the caves at Smallville. Michael Rosenbaum is going to come walking out of these caves at one point. I mean, I swear to God.
Very funny. So we'll wait and see what happens there in the episode titled Man of Steel. Looking forward to it. We also have descriptions for the 8th and 9th episodes of Superman and Lois. The 8th episode is titled Holding the Wrench, and in this episode the description reads thusly. It says, Clark encourages Lois to reach out for help after noticing her reaching a breaking point. Meanwhile, Jonathan finds himself in a dangerous situation. Lastly, Kyle encourages Sarah to audition for the musical review at school.
Huh. That sounds cool.
That's interesting. Next up, we have the 9th episode of Superman and Lois, which will air the following week after episode 8. That's naturally the way they go. We don't have any breaks at this point in time, so just week to week. This episode is titled Loyal Subjects, with subjects spelled Subjekts. And in this episode, Lois, Chrissy, and Clark team up to piece together the significance of Smallville to Morgan Edge. And that's all we've got for that description, so not giving away too much. And that episode will air on June 8th. That is the 9th episode of Superman and Lois.
Yeah, I'm just they just keep coming out, and hoping we can go just right up to the end with this.
So looking forward to the next 3 weeks of Superman and Lois with new episodes of this first season. And don't forget, folks, we have already had a second season renewal, so we know that it will be continuing. All right, we're at the halfway mark of tonight's show. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back on the flip side to talk about the new animated series titled My Adventures with Superman. Stick around, we're going to be talking about that, comic books, and so much more. Might help if I press the right button. Let's go.
I was about to say, am I doing the Skype thing again?
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying WGBS TV Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by visiting patreon.com/Superman homepage.
up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Oh, that outfit's adorable! It's perfect! I think it's time to have some fun at Burger King. Excellent!
Yeah, that sounds great.
What are you watching?
Superman fighting Brainiac?
Could you turn it down?
Cool new Superman toys are now at Burger King. You can get one with every Kids Club meal.
Well, what have we here?
Whoa. Burger King Kids Club. Great food, cool stuff, kids only.
And we're back on WGBS TV Live, and it's kind of fitting that we had the Burger King Superman the Animated Series toy commercial there, because there is a new Superman animated series about to hit our screens, thanks to HBO Max and Cartoon Network, who announced that they've ordered 2 seasons of a new animated series titled My Adventures with Superman, which is a funny acronym because it comes as MAWS, M-A-W-S.
No, I was very excited to hear about this. One, because it's a Superman animated series.
Yay!
And because I'd seen, like, right before it, the announcement of the Batman animated series that's got, like, the Caped Crusader.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, of course they're doing a Batman show. But to do this and to have it with, you know, Jimmy and Lois and Clark, all as kind of early 20-somethings, the only thing that gave me pause was...
Moores gave you pause?
Yeah, I got pause.
Moores gave you pause.
No, the Super Pets one gave me pause. No, the only thing that kind of made me go was we've created a Clark that's relatable for the times. That's always a red flag for me. That's like the alarms start going off in the back of my head. It's just like, okay, you've got a lot to come back from for that. But after reading Jack Quaid's interviews, I'm just like, no, he seems to at least have a good handle on the character.
So let's go through it. We have an image, there it is, of Clark, Lois, and Jimmy. We'll get to the character designs in a second. But it says here that My Adventures with Superman introduces us to 20-somethings Clark Kent, the bright and driven Lois Lane, and their best friend Jimmy Olsen, as they begin to discover who they are and everything they can accomplish together as an investigative reporting team at the Daily Planet. Promising a mix of action, comedy, and romance, the new series has received a 2-season order, and it's described as a serialized coming-of-age story which follows Clark as he builds his secret Superman identity and embraces his role as the hero of Metropolis and perhaps the world. Lois, now growing into a star investigative journalist, takes aspiring photographer Jimmy Olsen under her wing. All the while, Clark and Lois are falling in love, sharing adventures, taking down bad guys, stumbling over secrets, and discovering what it means to be Superman and Lois Lane.
Yeah, I mean, it looks totes adorbs, as I think the kids are still saying, hopefully, so I don't sound too... it's funny because my wife watches a show, and I've watched a bunch of episodes with her, on Disney called The Owl House.
Right.
And the main character of that show is a young girl who, design-wise, looks a lot like this Lois, and we stumbled across somebody who had actually redone Lois's outfit to look like the one from Owl House. But no, you know, if you're doing something that's aimed at kind of a younger audience, you know, and it's going to have some comedy, I don't think it's going to go like full Teen Titans Go.
No.
But yeah, I just I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and obviously, so, we can look at the character designs here. Clark looks like he's, a bit of a stumbling, bumbling fool, or is just shocked at Lois's forwardness. Lois is very much with that, short, boyish haircut. Looks like she's, an in-your-face kind of go-getter. And, Jimmy is not wearing a bow tie. What's going on, Michael?
Yeah, I know. It's just shocking. But no, I like that Jimmy is wearing a tie. I mean, the bow tie would have been cute, but bow ties haven't been cool since Doctor Who wore one. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Question from John. Do you think the new My Adventures of Superman will have known voice talents? Well, we do know that they have known voice talents because actor Jack Quaid, who is probably best known for his role in The Boys, is voicing the role of Clark Kent Superman, and Alice Lee from Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist will be the voice of Lois Lane. So there are already some well-known actors in those roles. We'll talk a little bit more about Jack Quaid's comments that he did in an interview. But looking at the designs again, I don't know, fans just go off their nut when they change the skin color of some of the characters that they're familiar with. This is not the first time that we've seen a black Jimmy Olsen. James Olsen, obviously in Supergirl, played by Mehcad Brooks. When are fans going to get over this?
They were going to cast Chris Rock as Jimmy Olsen in the Tim Burton Superman film.
Yep.
So it's just one of those things where ultimately it doesn't matter. For especially for the supporting characters.
Yes.
Because Perry White was black in Man of Steel.
That's right.
And BVS. Now I'd argue that wasn't. I didn't like that Perry White, especially in Batman v Superman. But I had no problems with Lawrence Fishburne playing him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a times change, and
like Mind the Gap says, if he acts like Jimmy Olsen, then that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, we're either Michael Landis or I can't think of the other kid that played. He's 2 years older than I am. The other guy that played Jimmy Olsen on Lois and Clark. Neither one, one had black hair, the other was a sandy blonde. I mean, neither one of them were redheads.
I don't think have we ever had a redheaded Jimmy Olsen on live action?
We have never had a live action redheaded Jimmy Olsen. We really haven't. I mean, I'm thinking, and animated wise, we have.
Yes.
But Jack Larson wasn't a redhead. Mark McClure, not a redhead.
No.
So I mean, it's just we're not going to have an all-white cast these days. It doesn't reflect society.
Exactly, and it's not about changing the race of characters. It just really doesn't matter in a in this kind of, like I said, a supporting role. So let's talk about. So do we have a release date for this? I think no, we don't have a release date yet. But so Jack Quaid, who plays the vigilante Huey Campbell on the Prime Video superhero series The Boys, will be voicing the role of Clark Kent Superman for My Adventures with Superman. And in an interview with Cinema Blend, he revealed that he's gotten big time into the comic books, loving Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman. He says it's incredible. He says, I've always been a fan of Superman, but I've become a real rabid Superman fan ever since really diving into the research. I'm really excited to be a part of it and really excited for audience to see it. I think we have a really cool take on a really classic character. It's awesome, he says.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jack Quaid to begin with. I did not think I was going to like The Boys, and I ended up really just loving the characters, and he was one of them. And it took me a while to figure out why I thought he looked familiar. He's Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's kid. And you can tell he's Dennis Quaid's son every time he smiles. My God, did he inherit his father's smile. But no, I think he's going to bring a really interesting nuance to the character. Because he's got it's going to be a younger Superman, and he's kind of got that kind of early 20s timbre to his voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're going to have a Superman in his early 20s, you know, you don't necessarily want to go with, like, you know, a Tim Daly or a George Newbern right off the bat.
No. Some comments about social justice warriors having ruined Superman in the comments. Superman has always been a social justice warrior.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Always.
The man's first edict was the champion of the weak and the oppressed. He was tearing down tenement slums so the government would rebuild it. He was declaring war on reckless drivers because he was tired of people getting killed. He was, you know, taking two heads of armies and, like, throwing them together and saying, you fight it out. And if you're going to say, he stands for truth, justice, and the American way, you are implicitly making him a political character. There's just no two ways about that. Superman, at his heart, was created by two Jewish kids who were in the midst of the Depression. And if you're going to ignore that fact and ignore that he has always been there for the little guy, then I think you're kind of missing the larger point of who the character is. It's not about the powers, it's about how he chooses to use them.
Yeah, so true. Well said. All right, so my adventures with Superman, cannot wait for this to see how it goes. Looking forward to seeing some clips or whatever they have. As I said, stay tuned for a release date. We haven't got any details yet, but we look forward to seeing where they go with this and seeing some clips. And the fact that they've ordered 2 seasons, please, Cartoon Network, keep it on a regular time if you are part of it. I mean, I know HBO Max is also involved there, but Cartoon Network has destroyed so many Superman shows.
Yeah.
I mean, Justice League Action just went the way of the dodo way too quickly.
Yeah, they didn't even really give that a chance.
No, at all.
They?
And if it wasn't for, the fans arcing up about Young Justice, we would have lost that too way too early.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on and take a look at what else we have. Fan favorite question. Let's get into that. I forgot to pose the question last week. Sorry, folks. Last week was a rough week for me. Was not on the ball when it came to the show at all. But the question was about your favorite lock screens or wallpaper of your phone. I think we'd pretty much already done that one a few months back. So we're not going to show any fan favorite responses this week. We just didn't get any because I didn't ask for them. But we are going to pose the new fan favorite question. Here is our promo intro. All right, Michael, what is our new fan favorite? I didn't send it to you, did I?
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
I'm looking nervous. I'm like,
you're going, I've got no idea, Steve. Our new fan favorite question is, what is your favorite collectible from Superman the movie?
Ooh, that's a good one.
So,
that's a niche one, but that's a good one.
Yeah.
That should hopefully bring up some interesting responses.
So there is the email address at the bottom of your screen, info@supermanhomepage.com. Send us your photos of of your favorite Superman the movie collectible. Could be, some of those glasses, those drinking glasses that came out. Some of the
from Taco Bell.
Yep. Some of the those little metal lunch boxes, posters, vinyl albums, anything that you have that is Superman the movie related, memorabilia from the time. Send it in, info@supermanhomepage.com, and we will feature it here on our next WGBS TV live episode. And Jim Bowers, if you're out there, show us some of your stuff.
Yeah, come on, Jim. You're a ringer for this one.
Big time. So that's the fan favorite segment for this week. Look forward to seeing your responses. All right, let's move into the comic book side of things, where I wanted to quickly touch on Superman Red and Blue #3, which came out this past week. It has a collection of short stories. Some of them are really cool. I especially liked the very first one, in which Diana Prince and Bruce Wayne are waiting for Clark Kent to arrive for a dinner date that the three of them are supposed to be getting together for. And Clark is having one of those days where he's trying to get a deadline written for the Daily Planet. He's trying to, get to the restaurant where they're having dinner, but on the way, he's, got to save this, that, and the other. And it's just, they're having it. Diana and Bruce are having a bet as to whether or not he'll make it on time. And they're talking about him, while we're seeing the action of what he's going through to try to get there. It's a really great little story that just looks at the character from a different perspective. And Superman Red and Blue's stories are pretty much like that along the way, are really enjoyable.
I'm biased about the second story.
Kilgore City?
I'm in it.
You're in it?
I am in it.
Tell us,
Me
please.
and Rachel are in it. Let me see, because I clipped it earlier tonight.
So as the Justice League battles Kilgore, Superman attempts to convince the artificial intelligence that he should ask people nicely to be friends instead of kidnapping them.
No, you can't see it, can you?
Send it to me. Yes, we can.
I will send it.
No, we can. Just there, as you came.
Okay. Come on, get back to where you need to be. Now it's all screwed up.
Or if you...
Anyways, I know the guy that Michel Fiffe, who wrote and drew that episode, is a buddy of mine. And let's see if I can do it.
Just go off screen first and then come back. Oh, here we go. There it is. That is definitely you and Rachel.
Yep. And the name Bailey is on the thing. Yep. I'm buddies with Michel. He's a good guy, and he likes my podcasts. So
how cool.
He put me in it. So Rachel and I got saved by Superman last week, and
awesome.
I could not. No, seriously, I didn't know about it because I hadn't read it yet. I bought it digitally because Michelle's story was in it.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was coming. And then somebody shared it today on Twitter, and I nearly burst into tears at work because it just meant so much. I mean, it's just so I can't be biased at this first comic appearance, Michael. No, actually, first U.S. comic appearance. Another listener of my shows put me and a couple other people from the Two True Freaks Network in a Disney comic. So there's a Disney version of me out there in one of the European books.
Nice.
And Michel, years ago, dropped in a joke about me having problems with people calling it a mullet into one of his books. But no, I cannot tell you. I didn't want to just come out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm in this," but someone in the chat brought it up, so I'm like, okay, they brought it up. Steve's gonna see that hopefully, but yeah, it's I can't even talk because it meant so much to me that Superman saved my wife and I because we stupidly got jobs at Star Labs. God, I hope it was for the benefits. I really do. You see, this is what the hellscape of the American healthcare system is. That I got to work at Star Labs, but it meant a lot. And Michel is such a great guy.
It's funny that I even mentioned it or put it in the topics for tonight because you hadn't even told me about that, so it wasn't like I shoved it in there. I legitimately think Superman Red and Blue is a great read and people should be out there buying it, but you should definitely get issue number 3 now that Michael and his wife Rachel are actually in it. So that is really cool. Wow. All right, well done. So we move on to the announcement today that a Superman versus Lobo 3-issue miniseries is going to be hitting shelves and digital shelves as well. What happens when an indomitable force meets an irritating object? Asks the question. That's what readers will find out when Superman runs into Lobo in August's launch of Superman versus Lobo. Here is the here's the graphic for the front cover. That's not the front cover. Where is it? Here is the front cover right here. Superman versus Lobo, written by Tom Seeley, Sarah Beatty, Mirka Andolfo, and Arifa Prianto, by those creative people, will arrive on August 24th in DC's Prestige Plus format.
Yeah, I had to check a couple times to make sure it wasn't 1995. Because announcing a Superman versus Lobo miniseries it really feels like this is a '90s book. I'm legitimately shocked that this is a thing.
It's like it was a found story somewhere in the archives, and they said, "Oh, let's publish this from." But these are new creators, not people involved back in the day. But yeah.
So, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter are really excited about it, and that continued to shock me. I'm like, wait, people are excited about Lobo?
Well, it says here. Newman is the most popular being in the universe, a god clogging all social channels, and he does not take kindly to attention going to Superman and Lobo. Further complicating things is Dr. Flick, a scientist determined to study the last sons of Krypton and Zarnia, respectively. What can she glean from the hero whose home planet was destroyed when he was just a baby, and the bad boy who made it all go away just for the heck of it? Wow.
Yeah, I have no doubt that it's going to be at least interesting. I was just surprised. I didn't honestly think that we would ever get anything with I know Lobo was on Krypton, and he was part of Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, but this is just weird. It really is.
So the first issue, as I said, arrived on August 24th. And it's 3 issues, so it will carry DC's Black Label content, which indicates that the content is appropriate for readers aged 17 plus. So not a kiddies book.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's probably going to be epically violent.
Probably, with lots of vocabulary in there from Lobo. Let's get into what is available this week for Superman fans reading comic books, and this is what you have to look forward to. You have Action Comics 1031 out this week, and that is available in this variant cover, which makes up the background behind me and my green screen for this very show. Also out this week is Batman Superman number 18, which continues on that with that film type villain. He is, and this is the variant cover for that comic book as well. Very moody image there. We also have the print edition, second print edition of Ruby Justice League, which is also available in another variant cover. Then we have on the collected side of things Superman Volume 4 Mythological hardcover. And we also have, that's the mythological hardcover. We also have this one here, which is Superman by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason Omnibus. And then we have the digital first publishing program with Ruby Justice League Chapter 10 available to download Tuesday, May 25th. So that is what is available for Superman fans of the comic book realm, coming out Tuesday, May 25th.
I'm hoping that we're going to get a Superman Rebirth by Dan Jurgens omnibus at some point, too, to go along with that.
All right, we're going to go now to the real world side of things where, yes, the Superman celebration is happening this year. It had a break last year due to COVID, but the Metropolis Chamber of Commerce has announced that the 2021 guests attending this year's Superman celebration are the following people. We have, let me close off that. We have this year, Kay Callan, who is best known for playing Clark Kent's mother, Martha, in the ABC TV series Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. She will be attending this year's Superman celebration. Also, Nicole Tom, who is probably best known for playing Maggie Sheffield in The Nanny, but also voiced the role of Supergirl on Superman the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited. Boy, hasn't she grown up.
Yes, she has.
She is going to be attending this year's celebration, as is Elan Mitchell-Smith, who is an actor who played Clark Kent's friend Andy McAllister on the 1980s Superboy TV series, also was in the movie Weird Science. And that is the 3 guests announced to date for this year's Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois, which will take place for 3 days this year, not 4 days. 3 days, July 30th, July 31st, and August 1st. So it's been pushed back a little bit later in the year.
This is the second convention, not that we were seriously considering it, but now it's completely out of the realm of possibility for me because of work. That's a blackout period because it's the busy time for us. I had to turn down a convention appearance as well. I was going to do some panels at Atlanta Comic-Con, but they won't let me off, and
that's a shame.
I get paid at work.
Yes,
so.
And due to COVID things with international travels, I won't be traveling this year to Metropolis. So, not that I had intended to this year, or next year at this stage, but some point down the future. All right, let's get into the this year in history segment of our show. Here we go.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All right, we got a little bit of, not as much time, but there's not as many books. So we've got 1951, Superboy number 15. Can you guess the baffling secret of the golden Superboy coins? And Superboy looks like he's 60 on that cover.
The furrows in his brow.
Yeah. Jumping all the way to 1971, we've got Superman Pals Jimmy Olsen number 139, where we get to meet Goody Rickles, who may or may not have created Doomsday, according to some people on Twitter. We also have Action Comics number 402, The Hostage Must Die, and The Feud of the Titans. I really don't want to know how cringeworthy that story might be now. And we have Adventure Comics number 408 with Supergirl in an interesting costume. I kind of dig that one. That's kind of cool. Jumping all the way to 1991, we have Adventures of Superman number 480. We are continuing the Return of the Krypton Man story. This one written by Jerry Ordway, and that's just an awesome cover. Going to 2001, we had Superboy number 88. Diapers and Angels and Baby Oh My was the name of the story. Joe Kelly had taken over. We also have Dr. Fate guest starring in Supergirl number 58. You can tell this is after she got her powers cut in half. And Eradicator, Harbinger of Doom on the cover of Superman, the Man of Steel, number 114. Finally, and Steve actually had to correct me earlier today because I got me dates wrong. Action Comics number 901. We are in the home stretch of this run of Action Comics. And y'all, this Doomsday story was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. In the real world, on May 23rd, Win Mortimer, Superman artist, was born in 1919. And on May 27th, Richard Schiff, who played Emil Hamilton in Man of Steel, was born in 1955.
There you have it. And we have a request, Michael, on the screen.
Do we have a request?
Could we get our semi-weekly Bibbo
semi-weekly? I guess so. Only for you, Van.
Maybe you can see us out for the show. Of course, we are done for the week. We are done for this episode of WGBS TV. Before we do sign off, I'd like to thank everyone for watching tonight's episode. I want to thank our sponsors, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray, and my co-host, Michael Bailey, a.k.a. Bibbo. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure, Steve. I really like being part of the show because Superman, he's my favorite.
And thank you to everyone on YouTube for watching tonight's episode of WGBS TV Live. We appreciate your support and thank you for your comments and involvement in tonight's show. And if you'd like to support the Superman homepage, then please head to patreon.com/Superman homepage or click the join button there on YouTube below. There are different levels of perks for different levels of membership. We'll be back next week on Monday, May 31st for another edition of WGBS TV Live. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice, on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.